Hello, my name is Francisco De La Paz. I'm going to give you a quick tutorial demonstration on how parametric modeling works in Fusion360, and I'm going to show you 3 separate ways that you can do that. Okay, I'm going to model a wall with a doorway centered and 2 windows centered in the spaces between the doors and the wall. So the first way I'm going to demonstrate is how to do it from a sketch. So we're going to start with a sketch on the front plane. The numbers that I'm going to use I know, so we're going to just put them in. The wall height we're going to go with is 12 feet. The wall width we're going to go with is 20 feet. Okay, I like to move these lines so when I hit fit, everything stays in the window and I can work. So that's a little tip for you. You know, if you want to don't get areas lost, use these outside measurements to keep everything centered for you. First, we're going to do the doorway. Go from this baseline. We know the door height I want to use is going to be 8 feet. And the door width I want to use is 3 feet. Wheelchair accessible. Okay, now we're going to have to lock this in. So we're going to take the left side of the door to the left side of the wall. And to lock it in so that it's centered, we're going to use this dimension, the 20 feet, the wall width. Divide that by 2. And then we're going to take half the width of the door. So we take that, divide that by 2. Now that door is centered. So now we need windows. Here, I want this window to be 6 feet tall and 3 feet wide. There we have our window. We need to lock it in. So to lock this in again, we're going to take the left side of the window to the left side wall. And for these dimensions, we're going to use the space between the left side of the door and the left wall to keep it centered between the two. So we'll take this dimension, divide that by 2, and we'll subtract the window width and divide that by 2. Now that is centered on the wall, and as the wall gets bigger, it'll stay centered between the 2 spaces. We need to lock in this bottom, so we'll go from the bottom to the floor, and this is usually static, right? But let's go with, I normally go with 3 feet, so it's even with the doorknobs of the house. So I'll use 3 feet there. But this is just one window. We need a second window. Throw in our rectangle. Now we could dimension this out, or we can use our constraints. So what we'll do is we'll make this top line collinear with this top line. We'll make this width equal to this width. And we'll make this length equal to this length. Sorry, not parallel, equal. Make this one equal to this one. Okay? And now we just need to lock it into this wall. Since this space is even, we can use the right side wall. So we'll take the right side of the wall to the right outside. And that should be even with this number. Everything is dimensioned out and we got a full wall. Let's extrude this. We'll click here. We'll extrude it to 8 inches, 0.75, but we need a component, so we'll make it a component. Now we'll hit OK, and we have our component. Let's go ahead and make this a little bit small so we can see it. Move it up here. Here we're going to hit configure, which opens up this window. Right now it is empty. right? So we need to go to properties. This button right here is going to add components. We'll click that. We'll get this dialog up here that says configuration, add components, properties. We'll click this component and this green check mark, and now the component is in our parameters. We'll see it when we'll go to parameters. We'll hit function, and now it's listed under, we haven't saved, so that's why that says unsaved. I can save this real quick. Save it as sketch tutorial. Save. Go back to this function, and now you see it's the sketch tutorial. And this is under model parameters. On the component, we have our extrude. We have the measurements that we extruded by. If we want to use those in changing our models, like if we want a thinner or thicker wall, we can go ahead and configure that. I'm okay with what I have there, but the ones that matter to me are in this sketch tutorial. So we open up the sketch, we have our dimensions. Here is a good time to name these dimensions. And so the 20 feet was the wall width. Fusion360 does not like spaces, dashes, commas, periods. So I find the underscore works the best. The second one was the wall height. This one is the door width. This one is the door height. This one is the left side of the door being locked. So what this one could be called is door left lock or placement. This one here was the window width. This one was the window height. This was the window left lock, or how far it is from the outside wall. Window left lock. Sorry. Window left lock. Okay, like I said, it doesn't like that parentheses. This one here was how high it is, or the bottom lock. So window bottom lock. These two, they're pretty much just the constraints that we use for the right side windows, so I'm not worried about those. That'll change when these other ones change. So we'll click these boxes. And we'll hit OK. Now you see that our constraints are here in the configuration tab. We'll go ahead and sort them. Okay, now if you keep your eye on the wall, see what happens. If we decide to go with a standard door size is 80 inches, so that's 6.75 feet, the door got smaller. The door width, let's say a standard side door side is 2.5 feet, 2.5, it got thinner. Everything shifts, right? But everything stays consistent. We'll go with a 15-foot wall height, and let's go with the 24-foot wall. The window height is going to go to 8 feet, and the window width is going to go to 5 feet windows. There you go. The door looks a little bit thin for those 5 feet windows, so let's change that to a ADA compatible doorway, which is 3 feet again. And that is how you configure and build a wall with windows using starting from a sketch. If you give me a second, let me prepare the next step. Okay, in our previous part, we built our window, our walls and windows and doorway via the sketch. But let's say you don't want to build it via the sketch, you want to do your user parameters first, which makes things easier. Instead of remembering numbers on the fly, you lock them in the first place. So we'll go to configure, and this time what we're going to do, we're going to use this, add parameters. We're going to go to user parameters and we're going to hit the plus key. Here is we'll put our parameters. We know our wall needs a height. And let's go with a 15-foot wall. Enter a comment if you want. Okay, we need a wall width. Let's go with 20 feet. All right, what else we need? We need our door height. And that's gonna go, let's go with 8 feet. We need our door width. And we're gonna go with 3 feet. We need our window height. Gonna go 5 feet. We need our window width. And we go with 3 feet. All right, this is enough to start building our wall. But we want to remember we need these locking positions and we don't want to mess up the math then, so let's get it right now. So we need the door left placement or lock. It doesn't like dashes, so underscore. And when we build this out, since we already have parameters, we can use parameters to build our expression. So to center it, we need the wall width divided by 2, and then we need to take away the door width, divide that by 2. Okay, and now we need the same for the window. Window left lock. And we built the door one first because we need that door placement to build the window lock position. So this go door left placement divided by 2. Take away window width divided by 2. Okay, and then the last one we need is how high the window is going to be. So that's window bottom lock or placement. And let's go with 2.5 half feet. Remember, since we're working in feet, 0.5 feet is 6 inches. Okay, these are all the parameters we got. We're going to use them as configurations. So the one we need to be able to change are wall heights and width, door heights and width, window heights and width. The door lock placement stays there since it's always going to be centered, and the window lock placement is always going to be centered, so we leave that one. But we might want to adjust how up and down it is. Notice that there is nothing in models. We hit OK, everything shows here. Let's again sort it. We'll close it for now. Now what that gives us the ability is when we build our sketch, right? Instead of using numbers, the first number is going to be the wall height. It's already there. So I have wall height and wall width. Hit both of them. Remember, I move these so when I fit, I can keep everything centered, and I have room to work. Okay, now we need our door. Start from here. We got our door height, door width. We're gonna go ahead and lock that into position. This one and this one. And that was the door lock left place. We need our windows. This one is window height. This one is window width. And then we have to lock it into place. We'll go from this left side to here. And this one is window left lock. And from here to here is the bottom placement window. I spelled that wrong, so that's why you're going to find it. You can go back here. Names are the only things that you can change. You can't change any of these other numbers, but I can change this to get better spelling. Okay, we need our second window. Right, so hit R, rectangle, here, and now let's use our constraints again. Collinear. Doesn't matter if we use the top or the bottom. And equal this to this. Now, then we're gonna lock these in, sizes in. Use this one. Here to here equals this dimension. And this one we don't need because we use collinear from here to here. We have a fully constrained wall. Right? So we'll go ahead and take this profile, 0.75. We need it says a component, new component, hit OK. Now, when you go to configuration table, these numbers are still here. The difference was we put the parameters in first. So we had all the names and we can remember the numbers and everything. And when we build our sketch, we can use the names for building our sketch as opposed to the numbers and then renaming it. So that's a different workflow. It works the same way. Door height, a standard height is 6.75. Door width, standard width is 2.5. These wall height is pretty thing, so let's knock that down to a 10-foot wall. I'm okay with the 5 feet window, but let's go with the 4 feet. Get those really wide windows. And let's raise it up so we can allow some more sun in, because maybe we have bushes. Okay, so this is how you do it if you want to put the parameters first. Okay, now this works, but there's another way that we can do it that's a little bit faster. Give me a second as I set that up. Okay, so I talked about a faster way, right? So far we showed build the sketch, then take the dimensions and name them so you can make the configuration. Then we showed build the parameters first with the names and so forth. But if you make a mistake, all you could do is change the names, and you will have to make a new parameter with the right dimensions if you make a mistake. So something that is more configuring or more forgiving, and I think a little bit faster. We go to configure, open that up. Here we're going to open up again add parameters, but instead of doing the parameters each way, what we're going to do is we're going to import parameters. Okay, I've already built one. It's a CSV file from Excel, comma separated values, where I put all the information that I might use. It's all in here. These two, D9, it doesn't work because there's no D9 right now, and also it doesn't work because it's necessary for this one to be defined so this one can be used. So what we do is we'll rebuild those. We'll import. They're now all in there, so we need to rebuild the locking positions. So we'll start with the door because we need the door for the window. Door, left, lock. And that is wall width divided by 2 minus door width divided by 2. And now we need the window lock. Window left lock, and that is door left lock divided by 2 minus window width divided by 2. Okay, let's see. Window placement, okay, we're all ready to go then. Well, let me go back there. Remember, we need to make these configurable. So the doors configurable, the walls configurable, the window height, window width is configurable, the window placement for how far it is on the floor, we'll configure that. These other two, they're really just constructions, which will adjust when we make the other parameters, so we don't need to make those configurable. Now here, alphabetized so it's easier for you to find what's what. Close it, and then like the last one, we'll do the same thing. Whereas to which we'll build our wall using names again. Wall width, wall height. Give yourself room to work using fit. Well, you can see I used the wrong dimensions there. So let's fit this one. This is not wall width, this is wall height. This one is wall width. Okay? Fit it. Here we go. R. This is door height. Door width. And let's lock the dimension in. This is door left lock. Now it's centered. A window. Window height. Window width. And now we'll go ahead and lock these in from here to here. This is window placement height, and from here to here is window left lock. Okay, make our second window. Again, use our first window to lock this one in. So we'll make this collinear. We'll make this equal. Okay, we'll make this equal to that. Here to here is equal to this one. Since we use collinear, we don't need the bottom one. It's already locked into place for us. Again, we extrude 0.75 as a component. There's a fully component wall, doorway, windows. When we go to configure, again, our information is here. Again, let's go with the 12-foot wall. Eight-foot door, 3 feet wide, wall width, let's make this 16. Window height is fine. Window placement, let's lower it a little bit to 2 feet. Yes, why not? And then maybe let's give it some big windows. 8 feet, 8 plus 2 is 10, so that stays in there. And let's push this out to 36-inch windows. All right, so there you go. This is importing the information to parametric model your wall and your window. I think this workflow is faster because mistakes and everything can be done with Excel. You have to use this format to build your common thing. You need name, unit, expression, value, and comments if you want, and you can make it a favorite. So I believe that'll let you bring dimensions into another window, right? But like I said, this D9 didn't work because there is no D9 when you import these. So you have to do these or just rebuild them as you want. So thank you for your time. Those are 3 ways to use parametric modeling to build the same thing. The first, starting with the sketch, and then using the sketch, renaming the dimensions, and then using it as configurations. Then the other one is starting with the user parameters, you know all your numbers, and then build your sketch with named dimensions. And the third is, instead of using the user parameters, import the table with all the information, so then that way you know all your naming conventions and everything is good to go, and you can adjust the numbers as you need. Thank you for your time.